mean that it actually goes to this National Learning Camp?
Not just that.
Not just that. That's a component, rather.
That's one of the programs under the bigger program, which
of
is
the National Learning Recovery Program. But 150
will probably be
big enough. Kumbaga.
Well, right now, 4 billion na yung budget ng programa. But as I said, pagdating dun sa National Learning Camp, nakita natin na may mga gastusin dun. Depending on the number of participants also. So, it would be good to also augment.
So, how's it been so far, the National Learning Camp?
Well, we already had a pre-test and a post-test. We're just waiting for the results of the post-test to see how effective it was. But again, this is a learning process even for us. So, the reason why we piloted it this year, so that we can make tweaks depending on the results of the post-test for next year.
And we need to talk about the budget. The approved budget, I believe, is 718. Is that correct, sir?
Somewhere around that. Kasi we haven't seen the budget coming out of the Senate naman kasi nagkaroon ng adjustments.
So again, just to clarify that 150 million, that's been removed. Now, para lang to be clear, do you know for sure now where it's going, that 150? Is it the National Learning Program, or is it for the voucher program?
Well, we will never know until the GAA or the General Appropriations Act comes out. Of course, after this, may BICAM pa.
Yeah.
But we made the proposal yesterday. We made the request, and of course, we're hoping na talagang malagay siya sa National Learning Recovery.
I'm sure the Vice President is hoping that the Senate and the Congress, both houses of Congress rather, will heed this request, no?
Yes, it's also the first time that we really came out with that request. So we'll see. But we feel that we really justified the need for it sa National Learning Recovery yesterday. Okay.
Again, more or less, the budget is about 718. I looked at the budget in 2022. It's 633.32.
Yes.
I got this from the website. So, more or less, there will be an increase of about, I would say, 80.
Yes, well, I'll have to check if the numbers you have include yung tinatawag nating RLIP. No? RLIP is including government contributions and all that for personal expenses, meaning their GSIS, pag-ibig. So we'll have to verify. But yes, there is definitely an increase. No? Kasi dun sa NEP pa lang, meron na tayong increase of around almost 5%. Dun
5%,
sa NEP pa lang.
Yeah. And by law, hindi ba, it's the education sector that gets the biggest pie,
yes,
really, of the
true.
budget.
That's
And we
true.
talk about education sector. We talk about the Deped, we talk about SHED,
Yes.
we talk about even TESDA.
Yes, that's
is part of this. A number of controversies. Senator Tulfo was talking about this contribution in schools. When this was brought up, I think it's really important to talk about this. It was already mentioned that even back in 1969, mandatory, that's, guess what we should call it, mandatory contributions have been banned. However, what, sir? This is still allowed sa PTA? Ganun ho ba yun?
Well, at ganito kasi sa DepEd, no, meron tayong no collection policy. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Hindi pwedeng mangolekta ang mga paaralan sa ating mga learners. No? Totally banned yan. Bawal yan. Ngayon, ang na-bring up kahapon was with the PTAs. As you know, PTAs, they have their own bylaws. They're allowed to have their own bylaws, rules, regulations. Now, gusto din nating sabihin, because we don't want to undermine this, ang mga PTAs, may mga pagkakataon na napakalaki din talaga ng naitutulong sa atin. So, may mga contributions sila sa atin. And of course, we're very grateful for that. Tumutulong sila at the school level. The question now is, napipilitan ba yung mga parents? Kasi kung voluntary naman, no? If I wanted to contribute, for example, wala naman sigurong masama doon. Pero kung talagang may pressure or talagang pinipilit ng mga PTAs, at may repercussions kung hindi magbigay ang mga parents, yun naman ay talagang hindi tama. And that is why yesterday, ang sabi nga namin, if there are complaints that were referred to the good senator, we would like to have copies of those complaints para we can also investigate. Because historically, pag may mga PTAs na lumalabag sa mga polisiya na ng DepEd, nagkakaroon naman ng mga sanctions, no, like suspension. Ayan ang i-confirm na ng ating field operations yesterday sa amin.
You don't see that as some sort of confusion when, although I understand what you're saying, if there is, pinagbabawal siya, pero dahil may PTA, bahala ang PTA if they will do this or not. Is there a disconnect there, Attorney?
No, well, I think we have to, it's not about pinapabayaan yung PTA to do something that's pinagbabawal. That's definitely not the case. No? What we're saying is the contribution mandatory? Are they forced to contribute? Is there really a sense of collection in that? Pero yun, hindi pwede yun eh. Pero if parents just want to voluntarily help, I mean, and I mean, yung nature, it's like a donation, no? Talagang gusto nila, bukas sa loob nila na magbigay sila. Hindi naman natin pwede pagbawal yun because that is personal already to them. No? But if this is being used as a circumvention of the no collection policy, and that's something that we're looking at.
So the operative word would be definitely mandatory is not allowed, voluntary is okay.
Voluntary, we cannot control that. That's up to the parents na. So
Pero,
it's not for us.
Attorney, sorry, papaano ho yun kapag lumalabas na nagiging voluntary? For example, dahil naaawa sila sa kalagayan ng kanilang classroom, mainit sa kanilang mga classroom, so nagiging voluntary siya dahil hindi there's not enough equipment, for example, in a classroom. And then hence the question, was it Senator Tulfo who also asked it, nasa na yung MOOE?
Oo. Yeah, good. Thank you for bringing that up. We have MOE for our schools annually. In fact, throughout the year, pag inukulang pa talaga, nagdadagdag tayo. But as you know, meron talaga tayong fiscal restrictions. No? And we have to admit na akma na ba yung MOE sa ating mga schools? Definitely not. No. Of course, we hope we could have more. So there are instances when you have parents, or not even parents, our partners would actually donate certain things to the schools. Hindi namin pinagbabawal yon because it's as we always say, it's a whole of nation approach. The question there is kung hindi nag-contribute yung isang parent, naapektuhan ba yung bata? Because yun yung realm ng DepEd, di ba? Kung hindi nag-contribute ang parent, tapos binagsak yung bata or mababa yung grade, hindi po pwede yun. Because then, it really makes these things mandatory. And that's what we want to prevent or avoid. And that's what we are prohibiting. Whatever contributions the PTA makes, it must not have any relation or connection to the performance of or the grading. Or the image of the child.
Yeah.
So, ang sinasabi natin dito is yung PTA kasi, you know, they have their own rules. If anyone wants to donate, that's personal to them. That's not something we can control. But there is definitely no collection in DepEd. No one can tell a child or his or her parent na pag hindi ka nag-contribute, may repercussions. Yan ang talagang hindi pwede.
All right. Just a very quick follow-up. I think Senator Tulfo wants a department order on this. So, what can you do about this? What will the DepEd do about this?
As agreed yesterday, the DepEd will issue a department order reiterating yung mga laws na nampanggit ni Senator Tulfo.
So it's just a reiteration of the no mandatory collection policy?
Yes, because we already have that in place. But we have, sabi nga kahapon, there might be a need to reiterate. So we will definitely issue that to reiterate. But aside from that, Ma'am Pinky, kung meron mang mga ganitong nangyayari, we would like to know also, yung kung may circumvention or they're using the PTA para magkaroon actually ng collection. We would like to know, and we're happy to receive reports, and we will definitely investigate. Actionan po natin yan.
All right. Again.